So for those of you wondering, you are currently here. And this is where we're probably going to end up going. So yeah, but yeah, that's absolutely for sure. But yeah, we're definitely hopefully this is the future. And if you don't like it, well, then you're probably on the wrong podcast. But anyway, so
But
yeah, huh?
is this wishful thinking though?
I don't know. Right now, I don't see anybody that's going to challenge this.
Wait a minute. Is this picture from his debate with
Yes,
what's his
we
name?
kind
Bob
of
Waltz?
yeah, Mike Walls. Yes,
Mike
but
Mike Waltz?
yeah,
When he
Bob Walls
was
works for it.
people
When he
think
basically looked at the camera like, really, yeah, it's a
but
great one.
I think didn't he come out and say he wasn't doing that? He was looking at the time.
I don't. Well, I mean, he might have been, but it sure as hell looked like he was being snarky, which is what we're going to go with. So that's. I mean, maybe there's maybe there's a clock right behind it. I don't know, but it was right at the camera. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Anyways.
No,
Either
he was
way,
being
funny picture.
snarky, and that shit was hilarious.
He's probably giving the PR answer when he said that possibly too. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yeah,
We'll have
that
to
was
wait.
the one debate I tried watching, but just the roundabout way that they tried answering questions, and it wasn't always. It was more Waltz than it was Vance, but there was one that Vance kind of dodged, and I understand why he dodged it because it wasn't a question that you can give a simple answer to without it making you look bad.
Hmm. Yeah, and every politician does that. So let's be fair. But yeah,
I
so
know.
but anyway, they say it isn't over until the fat lady sings. Well, for the Democratic Party, she's warming up.
Everybody, ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Evladi. Del pastor.
Okay, that's as much I can handle on that.
Happening right now.
Anybody else get some feedback on that?
Yeah, that shit was wild.
This is protesting, deportations and all that sort of stuff. But yeah. So anyway, that's what yeah, that's
It pisses me off because it's not like we don't want them. It's not that we don't want them here. We want them here the right way.
thank you.
Like, why is that not? I mean, I understand that it's probably difficult to get in here, but and it might be just a bunch of bureaucrat nonsense. But maybe that should be the problem that we need to be looking into.
Yeah, I agree that we definitely need to make the process easier. I have no doubt about that.
And they already are. Did you hear the Trump speech about the soccer World Cup coming?
Well, I know it's coming. I don't know if I saw the speech on it. No.
Well, yesterday or was it yesterday?
It was the last few days. I know he talked about it.
No, it was yesterday. That he had a big, press conference type thing. It was supposed to start at 1, it was supposed to start at 12, but it's at 1. Anyway, it's going to start next year, December 5th, and it's going to be huge. Like,
oh yeah, I know he's very happy about it. He's priding himself on being able to get it and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I have no doubt in my mind he'll make it a grand event, no doubt. It's like the 250th and the Olympics and all that stuff too. He'll definitely make it a spectacle, and we should celebrate it. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm glad that he's doing it. So yeah, well, but yeah, I didn't hear the speech though, but it was good.
But he was talking about we couldn't do this if DC wasn't cleaned up, if we don't get our other cities cleaned up, and these people that are protesting, they're fucking retarded. There's a chick, I think, did you share it too?
No, but I saw you post it. It was a good one.
Yeah, the one that would rather get her arm broken and carjacked again.
Yeah, she got carjacked and was her arm broken? I know.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I still don't want the National Guard here. I'm like, it's because she believes, like a lot of these lunatics, that he's actually instituting a dictatorial reign by doing this, which is not true. But anyway, we're going to talk about it. Trump federalized Washington, D.C. for 30 days to clean up the capital from crime and homelessness. This is designed to be the blueprint for cities throughout the country to clean up their own cities on their own. However, Trump could federalize New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and more if they don't get their acts together. In fact, Donald Trump announced Friday that he'll be surging the National Guard into Chicago next after the D.C. operation is complete within the next 30 days or so. The National Guard troops are preparing to deploy across 19 states to support the Department of Homeland Security in a sweeping crackdown on immigration violations and federal crimes. Trump shouldn't have to do this, but yeah, here he is, the only one willing to clean up crime in these cities. It's about freaking time, if you ask me. The amount of carjacking, robberies, murders, car thefts, and violent crime have been through the roof for a long time in Washington, D.C. You don't believe me? Here's just one example of a CVS in Washington, D.C.
And they steal everything. I want soda. I just want a drink. They put some stuff in here, but they can't keep
Like I
shampoo
said,
on the
they're
shelves.
adding those
Just like-
locking cabinets
Just totally and completely picked over
to
everywhere.
Yeah.
stores near us.
I just wanted that Coke.
I mean, there's nothing left.
Look at the razors.
And it looks like some of these were behind lock and key anyway.
Keep the
They're
candy
the ones
on.
still there.
You
So,
know
yeah,
what it
this
might
is-
come
that-
down to?
What's that?
That it might turn into basically you can only have a pickup order. Like you pull into the parking lot of a convenience store, you order what you want, and then somebody brings out that stuff.
Walmart's
exactly.
already doing pilot stores like that. It's pickup and delivery only.
And
Yeah.
honestly, it's going to make sense, especially in the cities where these riots and things happen.
Mhm.
It would make sense.
The point is, we shouldn't have to live like this. But that's
No,
what
we
we're,
shouldn't.
and that's what JD Vance has been making around saying over the last few weeks, for sure, ever since this whole thing went into effect. But the media is claiming that crime in D.C. was at a 30-year low before Donald Trump took charge, and saying that what Trump is doing is unnecessary. They love to say that, but then they never mention compared to what. A 30-year low doesn't mean it's anywhere close to good either. You can hit a 30-year low and still have more violent crimes than any other city in the nation. Not to mention the 30-year low argument only exists because they cooked the books. In other words, they weren't reporting crimes to make their numbers look better. So much so that the DC police commander was recently suspended for changing crime statistics. But the media won't tell you about that because they want you to believe that Donald Trump is overstepping his authority and is beginning to enact his dictator-like desires. That's what they'd rather have you believe. But as always, the media is lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a good example of that gaslighting from CNN's Dana Bash.
As we go to break, I should note that the most violent moment in recent history in D.C. was January 6th. And it
Oh
was
my
an
God.
attack on the United States Capitol by a lot of people who were doing it in the name of Donald Trump. And it included the people who were hurt, included members of law enforcement.
Let us look back once again at what Donald Trump actually said on January 6th.
Do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated.
Nothing wrong with that.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
So again, make your voices heard peacefully, patriotically. How is he responsible for what those people did? He's not. And by the way, you want to talk about what happened on January 6th? Well, I remember a date called January 20th, 2017. Let's compare the two real quick, shall we? When Democrats don't want to talk about January 20th, 2017.
Let's compare the January 6th quote-unquote insurrection to the riots on January 20th, 2017, Trump's inauguration day. Hundreds, if not thousands, of Antifa anarchists and communists rioted and committed arson on J20. They threw rocks, smashed windows, assaulted police with projectiles, and set SUVs and limousines on fire, destroying them, all in hopes of stopping the peaceful transfer of power after the lawful election of President Donald J. Trump. 235 J20 suspects were charged with various felonies and were liable to serve between 25 and 70 years
But
in prison,
wait.
with fines as high as
They didn't.
$25,000. But a funny thing happened on the way to justice. They were quickly bonded out. and then the judges rigged the cases to free the defendants. An example, U.S. Superior Court presiding judge Lynn Leibovitz, a George Bush Jr. appointee, forbade the prosecution from using phrases like Antifa and Black Bloc, and
Kinda
just
relevant.
before deliberations, threw out the felony riot charges. Just 2 defendants were convicted, but Leibovitz suspended their sentences. Only one of the 235 defendants, Dane Powell, did any jail time, and it was only for 4 months. Let's contrast
Pathetic.
that with what happened at the January 6th protest to stop the Electoral College count and ensuing Big Steal. The J6 protesters weren't bonded out, and some are in solitary confinement. The feds arrested more than 570 January 6 protesters, more than twice as many as they arrested for the January 20th mayhem, and charged many with quote-unquote civil disorder, obstruction of an official proceeding, and violent entry into the Capitol building. Nicholas Stix writes, J20 rioters did exactly what judges and prosecutors have accused the J6 defendants of doing. The rioting communists tried to prevent the peaceful transfer of power after a lawful election. This is life in the anarcho-tyranny, as Sam Francis described it, in which criminals aren't punished, which is why it's anarchy, but the innocent are, which is why it's tyranny. Read more comparison.
So yeah, there you go. I mean, you people on the left want to know why those of us on the right don't care about your January 6th selective outrage. There you go. I mean, any other thoughts on that? I mean, not only that, the videos that he was showing about January 6th, and those were anybody being violent? Not really.
No,
They're
and the
waving flags.
violence came from the feds. So
Who started it by shooting bullets and rubber bullets into the crowd, puncturing one guy's cheek, and gas canisters and things like
But
that.
there was
None of that stuff may have
also-
happened.
there was also guys, Antifa dressed as
Protest.
Trump supporters and all that there too. So
Yeah, and
and
that's
all
not a
of it,
conspiracy
Nancy
theory.
Pelosi, they were behind it. It was a setup. They fucking knew it.
Speaking of Nancy Pelosi, thank you. She's never one to miss an opportunity to try and pin January 6th on Donald Trump. And she did so again this last week, saying Donald Trump delayed deploying the National Guard on January 6th when our Capitol was under violent attack and lives were at stake. Now he's activating the D.C. National Guard to distract from his incompetent mishandling of tariffs, healthcare, education, and immigration, just to name a few blunders. Well, she got immediately called out by the former Capitol Police Chief who was on duty the day of January 6th, and he absolutely wrecked her little narrative. He said, "Ma'am, it is long past time to be honest with the American people. On January 3rd, I requested National Guard assistance, but your Sergeant at Arms denied it. Under federal law, I was prohibited from calling them in without specific approval. That same day, Carol Corbin at the Pentagon offered National Guard support, but I was forced to decline because I lacked the legal authority. On January 6th, while the Capitol was under attack, and despite my repeated calls, your Sergeant at Arms again denied my urgent requests for over 70 agonizing minutes, running it up the chain for your approval. When I needed assistance, it was denied. Yet when it suited you, you ordered fencing topped with concertina wire and surrounded the Capitol with thousands of armed National Guard troops." So once again, January 6th, by all accounts, was Nancy Pelosi's fault, not Donald Trump. But again, they want to blame him for it now that he's using the National Guard to keep D.C. safe. So Nancy, go have a beer and sit down, you old lush. I swear to God. But anyway, there it's not just other people, talking about how bad the crime is in D.C. or those making videos in CVS. Here's an ABC News anchor, a Democrat-run news outlet. This news anchor broke from her Democrat-mandated script and talked about what it's actually like living in D.C.
We've been talking so much about the numbers, and usually that's how you play devil's advocate, is you talk about, stats say crime is down. However, I can tell you firsthand here in downtown DC, where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. One person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped walking just 2 blocks down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen a block away from the bureau. So we can talk about the numbers going down, but crime is happening every single day because we're all experiencing it firsthand while working and living down here.
And again, just because the numbers are technically maybe going down doesn't mean they're not still high. Like I said, they won't tell you that part. In fact, DC has been more violent than many third world countries. maybe part of the problem is the current DC police chief does not know what the term chain of command means. Listen to this shit.
What the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor? How does this work?
Here it is again. That's just was so low.
Chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So the executive order is clear. The president has requested MPD services and our
So Mayor Muriel Bowser of Washington, D.C. had to step in and speak for her. Muriel Bowser, by the way, who claims Trump's actions are, quote, unsettling and unprecedented, and then later stated that there's nothing she can do to stop Trump because what he's doing is legal. She had to step in to save her DEI hire police chief from making an even bigger fool of herself. This is what happens when you hire based strictly on diversity, equity, and inclusion and not on her qualifications. I mean, come on. If you've seen one episode of any Law and Order drama television show, you know what the term chain of command means. What the F? And you all wonder why Trump had to step in. Yep. But the brain dead idiots on the left would rather sing about Trump taking DC from them because, since it's their home. Listen to this.
He is our home. You can have it, Trump. DC is our home. You can have it, Trump.
So again, these people are flat out brainwashed into believing that Donald Trump has taken over the city because he's Hitler.
Soon, these people are going to be in the mental hospitals with padded room, eating Jello, taking their medicine because there's no hope for them.
No, not really. Some people will not turn back. It's too late. You can show them this until you're blue in the face. They're not going to buy. We're doing this to try to reach those people who still have an open mind.
It's like, no matter, like, and like I've seen countless videos of people who live in DC who's
still plugged in.
This is going to be an insult to cats, but I bet every single one of them have cats.
Yeah. Like people who live in DC and they're like,
don't you have a cat?
You don't realize how good
AI.
this is. Like, how bad DC was, and all these people are out here. He goes, the one video of this guy said, like, do you know how long it's been since you're able to just walk around at night or stop at a red light without worrying about getting carjacked?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to send you something in the private chat real quick because it is AI. Since I said that, how do we know?
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you could tell here, the mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser, does not like Trump, clearly. I mean, you could just tell by that pursed look on her face. Yeah, this is, basically knowing that she can't do anything because Donald Trump has the authority to do this, and he should do this. So, yeah. What is this you sent me again?
So they are AI. It's supposed to be a Gavin Newsom supporter.
Okay, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. That's where we're at. But let's see here. Okay, Gavin Newsom supporter supposedly posted this. Is that right?
Well, yeah, they're debunking it because it's not. It's a fake AI generated picture.
You're talking about the top one or the bottom?
Well,
the bottom. The bottom's clearly you can't spell. Yeah. What is that supposed to be? Noir? Our?
It should be Newsom.
Gavin, our next president. That's Nour. That's what it says on the truck. So again, a lot of this stuff you're seeing from supporters supposedly online could be bots or AI just to make you look like, there's this, because this looks like a truck you'd see a Trump supporter have. This is not what you see a Democrat driving, or especially with all this on the. Do you see that anywhere normally? I don't know what some of these others, but yeah. There may be some. I don't know what some of these other things are, but yeah. This is Gavin Newsom press. We're going to talk about the Gavin Newsom press office Twitter account here in just a minute. But this is just proof that you can't believe everything you see. We're trying to show you the truth here on this channel, no doubt about it. That way, you guys don't have to go do all that. So yeah. But anyway, back to what we were talking about here. Yeah, go ahead.
I had a thought earlier, and so this is kind of backtracking a little bit. But when we said that Trump was cleaning up the homeless. What exactly did that mean?
When Trump was cleaning up the homeless?
Yeah, like he sent the National Guard to clean up the crime and the homelessness. What was
I
he
have
doing?
a theory.
Oh, he's cleaning up the streets to where they're not sitting on the streets, but I'm sure they're being placed in like homeless shelters or something like that instead of sitting on the street, like in tents or drugged over, things like that. Like in
Yes,
San
I
Francisco.
believe that they are probably being offered help because, okay, so everybody believes we're going to be getting some money, right? But if
Hopefully.
you give a homeless drug addict $5,000 Doge tax, benefit, what is that person going to do with that money?
Spend it
Go
on
buy more
drugs.
drugs.
Mhm.
But if you get them somewhere safe, clean, maybe on the right track, keep their money until they're ready, we got to clean it up. And, everybody got money for COVID. I bet all those homeless people that got it just drank it, snorted it, shot it up, whatever.
Absolutely.
So he's cleaning them up. He's not taking them to FEMA camps. He's getting them
this
help.
whole concentration camp thing or whatever stupid. But yeah.
I
Go
mean,
ahead, Aaron.
unless, well, not concentration camp, but I mean, if they committed crimes like rob somebody, well, they're probably going to
then they're
prison,
going to
but-
jail.
Yeah, that's different. But yeah,
But if
but
they
no,
don't
just
have a
the ones who don't have
record
homes. Yeah, they're helping them to get to some place where hopefully they're not on the street. So
I was just curious. It just came to my mind because if I was the president, I know what I would do, and it's what we just discussed.
I've said this, like, I don't know, I've talked about this plenty of times before in different contexts and shit like that. But like, we have a bunch of abandoned schools, buildings, even apartment buildings. I don't see why it would be so hard to have literally just that for these people, for people who are homeless, like in a program like
turn
that.
it into like an army base. Give them a grocery store inside that building. Give them everything they need. Have them work it. Have them clean it. Have them do all the things. Teach them. Give them 2 years. Section 8 is limited now to 2 years. So
the problem
give them
is
2 years in a housing development like that. Give them skills.
Right.
Give them educate whatever they need, and help them.
the problem is twofold. One, Brad, it's like, why can't we do apartments or whatever? It's because all the illegals are there. Number one, because they've been housed in those things. Number two, a lot of these people, we teach them how to do this and all this stuff. A lot of these people just don't want to learn.
But that's part of the. But that would be
that's
part of
when
the guide.
that's where the insane asylums go. Then you get to go live here and be dealt with.
Yeah, I agree with
you
that.
might not be a criminal, but if you're not going to be a productive member of society, we're not going to tolerate it no more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
like,
The
I feel like that's
1970s is when those hospitals closed.
Mhm.
And
Bring it
then
back.
now we have this epidemic of homelessness and drug addicts. And
Yep. We're going to make insane
So-
asylums great again, ladies and gentlemen. I hope so anyway.
But
By the way,
that,
go ahead.
that should be part of it. Like, you getting clean is part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You getting a job is part of it, because eventually what's going to happen, say you'll have, let's say we'll give you 2 years to get clean, to find a job, to get stable. And the same thing, and I'm not just saying for homeless people, you can do this for some of the homeless vets. Give them something to do. Give them something to focus their time and money and energy on, other than drugs or alcohol.
one other thing, Pete
Like, you have
Hegseth is opening the dog sanctuary.
Yeah.
We have a homeless dog shelter problem too.
Mhm.
Incorporate that with the homeless, because we know dogs
Yeah.
are.
We'll uplift people's spirits and things like that and help them.
Yeah.
So that'd be twofold. Hopefully those ideas will be taken under consideration, no doubt. But when it comes to DC, by the way, since Trump has stepped in with the National Guard, believe it or not, those of you critics out there, the crime rates in DC have plummeted.
When the National Guard hit the ground in Washington last week, that city's crime fight went into overdrive. And now we're seeing the impact and the dramatic reductions in crime.
When the National Guard rolled into Washington last week, the locals seemed skeptical.
The crime is minimal here. It's not really a lot of crime here. It looks like window dressing to me.
But with the guard on the ground, crime is on the decline. For the first time in a long time, D.C. has gone 7 days without a homicide. And that's not all. Carjackings are down 83%. Robberies are down 46%. Car thefts down 21%. And overall violent crime is down 22%.
When you have these kind of numbers going down, it basically says this is a success, and that means people feel safer.
Exactly. So just like with the border, all it takes is someone with the will and the drive to actually do something about it. And that's what Donald Trump is doing. So this is exactly what we voted for here in the United States. So all you critics are, oh, but it was safe already. Does this look like it was safe already if it's come down this much? Coming soon.
No.
Yeah. First time 7 days in a row without a homicide. In a long time. That's insane. That you can't go a week without killing somebody in a city. I mean, I'm sure a lot of cities have that problem to some respects, but Jiminy Christmas.
I think Bloomfield's okay.
I hope.
Nah, somebody got shot the other night.
Indianapolis.
Did they die?
But
yes.
did they die?
Yeah, they did.
But did they die?
Yeah, you sound like Kid Joe. Right?
In Bloomfield?
Yeah, I got it on the. I seen it on a post on it on Reddit.
But yeah. So coming to Chicago.
I saw an 18-year-old shot somebody in Bloomington, an 18-year-old female. So I don't know if she was defending herself or if she was just trying to kill him.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was Bloomington, so probably just wanted to kill him.
I mean, yeah. I'll tell you.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did look it up. I don't click on when I look up things, I don't click on any of the links because I'm weary about going to something I didn't want to go to. But most of the headlines said that Trump gave the homeless an option to leave the encampments and go to a homeless shelter where they were be given rehabilitation and also help with mental illness.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like what we were talking about. Yeah, nailed it. So, yeah, it's not rocket science, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt. If we can figure it out, I mean, clearly, no doubt. I mean,
and I will say, I saw a homeless guy in Bloomington yesterday. So,
yeah,
I like Brandon and Miranda's idea about renovating just some of these empty buildings that we have and putting them to work. Like, teach them to work. Be like, this is your place. If we want to keep it nice, you've got to help us keep it nice. Nobody's coming in here to do it for you.
Life's not free, people.
No.
As much as the Democratic Party wants it to
give
be.
them something to focus on and to help them. Like, I'm not saying everything has to be a handout. Let them earn it. You have to give them a reason to feel important enough to not want to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you have to, but you have to be willing to do it. And if you're not willing to do it, then these services won't be available to you. That's just the harsh reality of the world. It is what it is. You get what you work for. I will help you, but at the same token, you have to want it for yourself. My help only goes so far, right? Same thing with this whole thing with Section 8 and shit. Like, if you are an able-bodied fucking human, you don't have any disabilities, nothing stopping you from fucking working, I will help you. But eventually this helps stop, and you have to be able to stand on your own 2 fucking feet, period.
Yeah. That's why I got no problem with them adding like a work requirement to like Medicare and things like that. Because so if you can't work, if you're not able-bodied, you still get it. But if you do, or you are able-bodied, you either shouldn't get it or shouldn't be on it or whatever. Or you should at least, have to work so many hours or something to get SNAP or EBT and things like that. I got no problem with that. These days of handout and people just think they can skate through life and just do everything for free. That's not the way the world works. And I don't know about you, even though I don't always care about my job sometimes, like I don't always agree with things are going on or whatever. I always at the end of the day feel like I'm more accomplished by putting in a good, honest day's work though.
I'll be honest,
you may not like your job at times. You're never going to like your job every day, no matter what you do, unless it's literally something not most people anyway, but
satisfaction of knowing that I worked for this to get this.
Yeah.
Regardless of the job. I've had plenty of jobs I loved. I've had plenty of jobs I fucking hated. But at the same time, the satisfaction of me saying I own this because of this, I worked my ass off to get there. Fuck the job. I worked.
Yeah.
I broke the bank. I sacrificed this. I sacrificed that. I now own this for that reason.
Agreed. Yeah. Take a little pride in yourself, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just keep doing that. But Donald Trump apparently is looking into the Smithsonian Museum and other museums, and the media is saying that Donald Trump is trying to erase slavery by evaluating the exhibits at the Smithsonian and other museums to ensure they portray the proper and true history of this country. All right. Listen up, leftists, you lunatics. It's not about erasing our history, the stuff with the Smithsonian, okay? It's about acknowledging our mistakes while also embracing all the good this nation, including its founders, yeah, I said it, has done that the left have purposefully tried to erase and distort over the years. Need proof?
I was about to say, you're the ones that are erasing history. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. You want proof? Look at all the lawlessness that these Democrats did when they tore down statues in 2020. And they've done it for a while. But so who exactly was erasing history, as Brandon pointed out? Exactly. Here's another example.
Who was that?
Oh, I couldn't tell you who exactly some of these people were. But regardless, they're up for a reason. I mean, you may not agree with what they did in their personal lives way back in the day, but that doesn't mean they didn't contribute something good to this society that you're just overlooking because you think they're racist or something, which at the time is just the way the world was.
Those statues stood for fucking years and no one once said anything.
And I believe this one here, I believe this one here is set to be reinstalled. So some of these statues are going back up anyway. So,
it's no different than the Cracker Barrel bullshit. These people are fucking retarded.
It's just, I mean, hell, you fuckers got Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's erased from fucking history. So you can miss me with this whole.
Yeah. Yes, we have sins of our past, but there's nothing wrong with showing American patriotism and celebrating our successes as well. But many museums, like the Smithsonian, have been changed way too far. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger here. Oops, that's just me.
Is that
all right,
Fauci?
There's an exhibit honoring Fauci in the Smithsonian.
No fucking way.
Some of these changes have gone way too far to reflect only our sins, to perpetuate a permanent state of negativity towards our founding and history. Museums like the Smithsonian have become a cesspool of anti-American propaganda, just like the media has. It's time to take pride in being American again, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's what Trump is doing. This is just a few examples, like commemorating the act of illegally crossing the border, making it sound like crossing the border illegally is a good thing. I mean, migrants watched fireworks through border wall because American founders feared non-white immigration. No. Again,
am I allowed to say that if Fauci is found guilty of crimes against humanity, that I hope they stick him in the electric chair? Am I allowed to say that on the internet?
You can say what you want.
If
we get canceled on YouTube, we'll just go to Rumble. So I mean, let's be honest.
It is what it is.
I hope they fry his ass.
Yeah.
So it is what.
You put. Oh my God, dude! I like Eric. We've talked about this shit before. You know my whole stance on racism in general. Like, for me to pretend like it hasn't affected me at some point in my life, it has. But at the same time, again, it is what it is.
I don't think it's nearly as bad as the media and Democrats like to portray it.
No, but
it's to keep you locked in a little bitty box, on the plantation still.
But I
really,
refuse,
legitimately.
Like, I refuse to.
Because you got a brain. Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but well,
I'm playing.
You want to talk about?
But again, you want to cry racism, but yet you willingly got rid of two of the most successful Black entrepreneurs who came up in a time where it wasn't what's the word? It was difficult for them to be Black entrepreneurs. And Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima, they built their own fucking empire, and then you just got away with it. You wanted it gone because why? Now it's some plain fucking bottle that says.
You're not wrong. I hear you.
But yet you want to preserve fucking Black history, but yet you piss all over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's completely hypocritical and nonsensical, no doubt about it.
They only want to remember the slave part of it because they want to keep Black people thinking that they're slaves, like they're
but then
victims of it.
but they omit
It's the Republicans' fault and
they omit the part where how those blacks that were sold into slavery by their own fucking people.
Right. Yeah.
And weren't the only fucking ones. There was a lot of white European Irish people who were and Asians who were also sold into fucking slavery.
Mm-hmm. And they want to keep talking about it because the more we talk about it too, the more they I was going to say the more we talk about it too, the less we actually move on from it.
Yeah. And you know who else was sold into slavery? Fucking Native Americans. By what? Other Native Americans.
Well, you know who are slaves now? The Mexicans. They're running their drugs for them. They're paying them pennies on the fucking dollar to work these farms.
To work for them? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a new
work ridiculous hours too.
Do you think Democrats are just mad because they care for illegals? No, it's their slaves. It's a modern day slavery. That's what it is. Yeah. They're upset because their workers are leaving and they got to do it themselves. Simple as that, guys. So, and not to mention another stat that the media don't like to tell you, which we talked about a little bit before. Less than 2% of the American population actually owns slaves. I'm not belittling it, but those are the stats. Not very many people in America actually owned them.
In the United States as well.
And they want to paint all white people as evil back in those days. They weren't. And by the way, speaking of the Smithsonian Museum, here is one of our favorites on CNN, Scott Jennings, his retort to this whole Trump trying to erase slavery by fixing some of these museum exhibits.
And by saying that my personal view is slavery was a reprehensible institution. I agree with your words that it was our original sin. We also fought a war to eradicate it and to get over it as a country. And that was
our white people died, by the way.
Happened, and a lot of people died, and we did eradicate it, and that's a good thing. I think what he's asking is, in our museums, what defines us? Are we going to be defined by the worst moment or the worst institution or the worst mistake we ever made? Or are we going to be defined by what we've done moving forward to get over it and to become the greatest nation on the earth? My belief is that he wants to look at these museums, not because he wants to do away with the idea that slavery occurred, but that he wants to ask a very simple question. Are we going to present ourselves as being exceptional or not? And I think he believes there is an effort by some to continue to try to define us from our worst moment instead of try to focus and define us based on our best moments, which started when we eradicated slavery and began to move forward as the light of the world.
And he's absolutely right about that. I think it was well said by Scott Jennings.
I can tell you right now, the amount of pushback and attitude that he probably got from those two.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I believe this was the same panel because Jillian Michaels of The Biggest Loser, obviously you probably maybe heard of her. She absolutely lights the host, Abby Phillip, up over this whole Smithsonian exhibit as well. Listen to all these CNN talking heads try to spin this and to put spin this out to be Trump and white people bad. They're going to try to make it all sound like he's just evil. This first woman in particular is spewing all sorts of lies and misinformation. You can see the disgust in Jillian Michaels' face before she fires back on this topic.
He's gone into the Smithsonian and he's effectively now has some random person deciding what is appropriate for the Smithsonian to teach in terms of American history, things that don't offend parts of the MAGA base, right? So we're now literally reviewing parts of American history and parts of American culture to make sure it comports with dear leader and what the MAGA organization.
By the way, can I just say that that's ridiculous? That's not what Trump is doing. We got to capitulate to the MAGA base, with our dear leader. No, you guys are brainwashed.
Address some of those things that are in there? Because have you looked at some of the things that are being reviewed?
Slavery was a bad thing that was to talk about.
Okay.
Like, he forgives
or we can move on.
So he's not. No, okay. He's not. And you cannot tie imperialism and racism and slavery to just one race, which is pretty much what every single exhibit does. But let's talk about the fact that when you look at slavery, let's talk about the fact
that slavery in America was.
Do you realize that only less than 2% of white Americans owned slaves?
But it was a system of white supremacy.
You realize that slavery is thousands of years old?
White people were.
Do you know who was the first race to try to end slavery? Well, what's controversial?
I'm very surprised.
This is an extraordinary exercise in historical revisionism.
I'm really surprised.
Do you realize that?
Jillian, I'm surprised that you're trying to litigate
This is BS right here.
Who
Abby.
was the beneficiary of slavery and
I'm
who
not.
was
What I'm trying to tell you
in
is
the
that
context of American history.
Okay.
In the context of American history, what are you saying is incorrect by
What
by
I'm saying
saying
is
that
you
it was white
cannot-
people oppressing black people?
Every single thing is like, oh, no, this is all because white people bad. And that's just not the truth. Like, for example, every single exhibit, I have a list of every single one. Like, people migrated from Cuba because white people bad. Not because of Castro. Yes, no, it's in there. That's what I'm saying. You don't actually know what's in there. Do you know that when you walk in the front door,
what exactly?
the first thing you see is the gay flag?
Jillian, you have a lot of stuff in front
Yeah,
of
I
you.
do,
What
because I don't,
exactly
because here's the
are
thing.
you talking about?
Okay, I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
There's one called Change Your Game, right? This has been an installation there. Is gender testing fair in sports? Does that, and then it goes on to talk about how it's complex to do gender testing in sports. It's not complex. It's basic science. That's untrue. It's XX chromosome, XY chromosome. That's sports. Is it fair to have biological men competing against biological women in sports? No. But why is this in the Smithsonian? So it's been completely captured.
First of all, I don't.
And
think
it's totally partisan.
We don't. First of all, we don't have time to litigate
Of
all of
course
this.
we don't, because then you're going to
But I
lose.
do.
You see that? You see what you tried to do? We don't have time to discuss all. Yeah, because you're wrong. That's why you ain't got time to talk about it, Abby. You'll talk about an hour, a bunch of other stuff, but you won't address this because she's nailing your ass on this.
I hate the fact that this is always 4-on-1. Like,
yeah, well, Scott's sitting there, but he's letting her
this
roll.
shit pisses me off
Yeah.
more than any fucking thing. Because you're exactly it. You're a bunch of talking heads. You get your viewpoints and your talking points, and these are the things you got to hit. And the fourth person in there, that's your opposition. You're supposed to shit on them, and they got to sit there and fucking take it. Like, that
That's usually
shit to
Scott
me
Jennings.
is fucking annoying.
This is why CNN and MSNBC, who they've just had to change their name, we'll talk about later, but this is why they're all failing, because everybody's wise to this bullshit now. Thank God for voices like Jillian Michaels and Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings is the only reason to watch CNN, by the way, if you're even
This
doing
shit
it.
gives me the most, like,
Why would I?
craziest fucking headache ever.
I mean, I like it, but
I like just tearing them down once they do something stupid like this. It's like ridiculous.
But
Speaking of stupid,
just
Go ahead.
side thing.
yeah.
I mean, I watched Biggest Loser with my family all the time, and you know, I didn't like Jillian Michaels, but now that I heard that, I like her.
Yeah. I mean, and she's a former Democrat. Well, I mean, she's still a Democrat, I think, but even she's starting to realize this is stupid. You know, finally got some brain on her. But anyway, yeah. But speaking of stupid, yeah, Gavin Newsom, Greasy Gavin. As I mentioned earlier, Trump is continuing to fight for election integrity, and Democrats are furious over it, including Gavin Newsom, who is big mad about Texas redistricting, and he promises to gerrymander California even further, and if he gets his way, would likely include Mexico to get his voter base back, because that's about the only way you know, they're going to be able to get illegal votes the way this is going. During one of his press conferences where he was lying about what Texas was doing, ICE was then turned the press conference into an opportunity to sweep up illegals outside of the building. This is hilarious.
Now we're here making Los Angeles a safer place since we won't have politicians.
So he's out there complaining about gerrymandering, and he knows, and ICE agents know that there's going to be a lot of illegals out there probably supporting him. So they sent their agents out there to get all the illegals that they could to deport. So that's what called good timing. Of course, the mayor of LA, Karen Bass, also did not like this too well, and she went off on this whole thing, calling it coordinated, and you know,
not believe that this just happened to be a coincidence.
There is no way this was a coincidence. This was widely publicized that the governor and many of our other elected officials were having a press conference here to talk about redistricting, and they decided they were going to come and thumb their nose in front of the governor's face. Why would you do that? That is unbelievably disrespectful. It's a provocative act. They're talking about disorder in Los Angeles, and they are the source of the disorder in Los Angeles right now. This is
actually, I believe you and Gavin are the source of disorder in Los Angeles. I really do. I think these people were doing their job and trying to clean the city. You and Gavin refused to do. It's also worth noting that, you know, Greasy Gavin, and, you know, he's trying to run for president. But what he's doing instead this is how he thinks he's going to run for president. He hopes to do that by going on goofy podcasts with people like Harry Sisson on the bottom right here, who, by the way, claimed Joe Biden would still win the election after the embarrassing debate performance that caused him to drop out of the race.
Right or my right?
Well, everybody's right. The bottom right. Doing the black T-shirt with his eyes closed.
I know who it is.
What with the dumbass smile on his face?
Yeah, well, they've all got that. But yeah,
hate you, man. Like, listen, you know how I am, right? But like, he has the most punchable fucking face.
Oh hell yeah, he does. Yeah,
like, oh
yeah. This this podcast also had other Democrat paid influencers on it to try and quote own MAGA. By the way, nope, this was not satire. This is how they were spending their afternoon, trying to own MAGA, I guess. But one of the other ways that Gavin is trying to own MAGA is by having his handlers come up with fake Trump-like social media posts to try and prove he's a worthy candidate. What a joke. This comes off as disingenuous and stupid because you're just copying what Trump is doing to make yourself look like you're smart and clever. Sorry, Gavin, but nothing can stop what is coming, even including you, as I'm about to get into here. Following the passage by the state's Senate, the Texas House also passed the Texas redistricting map that they were so mad about. Republicans will, in fact, gain 5 House seats, and Democrats will lose 5 House seats in the state of Texas. And that means crazy Jasmine Crockett will be out of a job. By the way, 242 out of 254 Texas counties voted red in 2024. Redistricting, not gerrymandering, when it's 96% of counties voted for Trump. That's not necessarily gerrymandering when your entire state votes that way anyway. But Gavin Newsom is going to try to negate Texas. What happens when every other red state does it, though? Ain't nothing Gavin can do then. So what's that, what, Aaron?
Do you have the before of the
it's not much different. Actually, this may be the before actually. Yeah. So it's going to be just like a couple blue dots tops, which is basically what it is now. So it's really not changing that much, to be quite honest with you. But it's not like, in blue states where they've completely wiped all the red out for the most part. And I'm about to show you that right here. So yeah, even though red states are going to be doing this, there ain't nothing Gavin could do to combat it, because California's already done it for the most part. California, according to this, has 38% Republican voters in it, but only 9 out of the 52 seats, 20%, are represented. And the top section here is a list of all the blue Democrat states that have around half of the state, for the most part, have Republican voters in it, but they've been gerrymandered to hell where they have 0 Republican seats in the House. So, sure, these states down here on the bottom, these 5 that the Democrats have left, they can continue to gerrymander them to combat red states like Texas, but they can't do much more because they pretty much already gerrymandered it all the way they can anyway. So it's not going to do them much good. However, red states, though, this is a map of the states that still have ability to gerrymander further. Republicans can gerrymander all of these red states, and Democrats are going to lose seats if Republicans continue to have a spine in this situation. And they will mean that they will not win another election for decades. Democrats won't. And I'm here for that. I don't know about you, but yeah, they brought it all themselves. This is karma. And do not make the mistake of thinking this is not a war. This is a war. Democrats did it first and are going to lose at their own game because of it, and they know it. The only thing that stops this is the Supreme Court, which would likely vote to get rid of gerrymandering altogether and do everything fairly, in which case everyone's vote would be represented fairly, and Democrats also lose. So, like I said weeks ago, checkmate. It's only a matter of time. Democrats are on their last legs, and they know it. That's why they're flailing. So,
okay.
Yeah.
What is gerrymandering? I'm being honest this time. I don't know what that means.
Basically, where you rewrite the districts to get the voters you want in those districts to where they vote for your particular party. So, like, if you were to get, like, I don't have one in particular, but there's like gerrymandering in like Illinois, where like the districts are all over the dang state because that's where all the blue voters are, and they want to get all the votes there. So, if they just district normally, those districts would probably go red because they have Republican voters in them, but they don't let them vote proportionate to what's. So yeah, it's kind of difficult to explain, but does that make any sense at all?
Kinda.
I'll
look it up.
It's a political ploy, which don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily agree with gerrymandering, but that Texas is doing it. But again, I have no problem doing this if blue states have done it all over the country. Like in California, has not gone red in what 30 years because they gerrymandered so much that Republicans don't have a voice. So I got no problem with Republicans doing it then to fight back, not whatsoever. Like I said, the only thing that's going to fix this is if the Supreme Court steps in and says you all can't do it. And if that's the case, Republicans or Democrats also lose. Because it'll be fair at that point. So
okay,
keep fighting about it.
So like I say a city like Chicago, which is very blue, right? They would change the district for a big district to include Chicago, where Chicago has the majority of the populace, so that county goes blue.
Well, that county probably wouldn't necessarily need it though, but there's other districts like say in the center of the state for like say your Peoria, Illinois, your Champaign, Illinois, the other big cities. But if those cities are included in like blue districts to get the blue vote, but if they didn't do that, it would be like Indiana where they would only have like a couple blue dots, and it'd vote red. So Illinois is blue because of gerrymandering. Same with California, Oregon, all these states. And now the red states are finally starting to play by the Democrats' game, and Democrats are pissed. That's what it is. I say turnabout's fair play.
Yeah. Honestly, I know Miranda has brought it up before, but we need to get away from that part and just make it so every vote counts.
And the only way you're going to do that is if it's proportionate to the actual, voter base in the states. Right now, if you're in California and you're a Republican, you don't have a say. And it's about to get worse if Gavin Newsom gets his way. And I don't disagree with that. I mean, Texas, if you're a Democrat, you're not going to have much of a say. I get it. But again, they started this fight. Republicans are going to finish it. And if I had my way, yeah, I'd be fine with everything being fair across the board. But it's not going to be that way unless something's done at the Supreme Court level, because no one's going to agree to it outside of being forced to. Because Democrats, like I said, will not win another election if that happens.
Let's sell California back to Mexico. I know they talked about it a couple of years ago.
I think, and he can have Newsom.
Say that again. Broke up a little bit.
Give it to Russia.
Oh,
like how they gave us Alaska, they can have
yeah.
California, and they can deal with it.
Some of those communists are probably like that down there in California. But anyway, we also got Act Blue, the Democrat Party's powerhouse fundraising platform, is under investigation by the Department of Justice at Trump's request over allegations of widespread election fraud and illicit foreign contributions. You don't say. We'll see if this ends up going anywhere. Act Blue has kind of been under investigation for many times in the past, and it's not really gone anywhere. But
well, nobody in charge wanted to do anything then.
That's true too. Very true too. Hopefully it'll be different this time. No problem with that.
This is why it's all like reruns. Yeah. We already know all this stuff. It's like, okay, but now we've got Cash in there, and I guess Bondi. I still don't trust that woman.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you there.
She lost a lot of credibility after the shenanigans she pulled.
She always seems nervous when she's talking, and I mean, she probably is. If she's sincere, she's nervous. But I just don't know.
Yeah. We got a lot of things to go through here, so I'm gonna try to scoot along just a little bit here. On top of that, Donald Trump is set to sign an executive order to eliminate mail-in voting and inaccurate voting machines, as he called it, hopefully moving to paper ballots only. I'm totally down for this personally. Democrats began claiming, of course, that by doing that, Trump will remove the ability for soldiers overseas to vote. For you libnuts out there, there's a huge difference between absentee and mail-in ballots, okay? Democrat politicians know the difference. They're just lying to you to garner sympathy from those uneducated voters out there and to drum up hatred for the president based on these lies. Your 85-year-old disabled grandmother can still go vote absentee. Everyone else, voting is not meant to be convenient. Show up in person, show your ID. Hopefully soon, those will be required nationwide, and then vote on paper ballots. Simple as that, guys. And if Trump has his way, elections are going to become fair again. So at least as best they can with the gerrymandering that's going on. But so I'm looking forward to it. Any other thoughts on those items real quick before I switch over? Well put. Get him, Reese. Yeah. Any other thoughts? No?
Well, I said end the voter fraud.
Right. That for sure.
Which part?
Well, the fair voting part. Like, let's get where it used to be.
Yeah, or at least to where we fight back instead of just rolling over and taking it like the Republicans have for a lot of years. I'm glad to see them finally starting to fight back. In Indiana, I read that Indiana is going to be one of the next states to actually gerrymander. In Republicans' favor. So yeah, again, F around and find out. That's the way I look at it. Speaking of Gavin Newsom and Florida or California, I should say, an illegal immigrant truck driver killed 3 people after getting his CDL despite failing multiple tests in, you guessed it, California.
New details on a U-turn crash that killed 3 people. Officials say the illegal immigrant charged with causing it had major shortcomings on his driver's test. So why was he given a commercial license? It's a question a lot of people are asking this morning. Good morning. I'm Dana Perino. Bill Hemmer is off. Good morning again.
Good morning to you as well. Good to be with you. This story has so many layers to it, doesn't it? It really does. I'm Bill Malugian. This is America's Newsroom. And listen to this. The Department of Transportation is revealing the suspect completely flunked tests on both English proficiency and road signs. Now, despite those failures, he was still somehow able to get commercial driver's licenses from the sanctuary states of California and Washington.
Federal officials blaming Democrats, saying their lax policies put lives at risk.
Because it did. This is a sad, tragic accident, yes. But it's definitely preventable. Never should have happened. This guy pulled an illegal U-turn in the middle of a highway in a huge 18-wheeler. And this poor van got just crushed. This man should have never... Yeah, go ahead.
There's a petition going around. Have you seen that?
No, I don't think so.
1.5 million signatures to have him released and give him community service and counseling.
No.
Why would they treat him any different than if he was an American that did it?
Yeah.
Like,
because
send his ass back in prison. He is responsible for killing a whole fucking family.
Yeah, all they'll say was accidental.
Leftists signing a petition to release him and just give him counseling.
Because their argument is, well, accidents happen all the time. It could have been a legal guy who did this too. No, a legal person would not have, got a CDL.
Broke the law, whether or not, like, it's an illegal U-turn. If I did it and I killed somebody, I'm going to fucking jail.
Yeah, even if your CDL was on the up and up. Yeah, you pulled an illegal move.
Even if it was an accident, I'm going to jail.
Yeah, exactly. But this whole thing has to stop. And luckily, the Trump administration agrees. Marco Rubio announced that they are pausing all worker visas for commercial truck drivers in hopes of preventing more tragedies like this. So good. You need to find out who these people are and whether or not they're qualified.
Center. This isn't new. I used to work at the distribution center for Kmart, and we would get these container drivers that come in, couldn't speak a word of fucking English, couldn't back up a trailer, hit shit. That was back in 2011.
Yeah.
Coming out of Chicago. So I hope they check Illinois too, because I guarantee they're giving out illegal driver's licenses.
Yeah, I've heard this is nationwide, pausing all worker visas. So we need to find out. Now we'll see if that ends up affecting anything, like as in like getting products to stores and stuff with truck. But again, I'd rather they be safe. We'll figure that out when we cross to it. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're at least looking into this, no doubt about it. On top of that, the State Department has been tasked with reviewing 55 million visa holders that are in America right now for deportable violations. Let me say that one more time. There are 55 million people in this country on visas. Unreal. That's 1/6 of our population. 1 out of every 6 person. You add that number to the estimated amount of illegal aliens in this country, and we're looking at a total of around 100 million people out of the total population of the United States, 340 million, who maybe should not be in this country. 1 out of every 3 in this country are not actually American. 1 out of 3. That's 100 million counted on the census that shouldn't be there. This affects apportionment and determines how many representatives are in Congress. So yeah, this is why the Democrats are so pissed about illegals getting deported and stuff. Because again, 100 million people would definitely sway who gets representation in these states when it comes to elections.
I have a kind of a story about a work and travel person. I mean, So there's this issue it was one of my first jobs. It was at an amusement park. But there was this older gentleman, probably about 35 maybe. He would make a lot of sexual advances toward the underage younger workers. And this went on for a long time. And one of the girls finally stepped up and said something, and any person in management, any person that worked around this girl that knew about the thing got fired. But the guy who was perpetrating the acts got moved to a different department. Yeah.
Man.
That should tell you how they really feel about American workers versus these visa workers.
Yeah.
Not saying they're all bad, because there are
but...
great people that work really hard, but I've met a lot more bad ones than I have good ones.
Mm-hmm. It just think again, 100 million people in this country. That's a third of the country that probably either shouldn't be here or are illegal, or they're just on visas or whatever. That's 100 million people draining resources like housing, food, and healthcare. You ever wonder why your rent is so high? This is why we have shortages and everything is so expensive right now. We have been successfully invaded. I don't see how it'll ever get fixed. We can't possibly deport that many people over the next 3 years. It's going to take decades to reverse this damage if we ever do. I mean, Trump will be, lucky if we can get like 3 million people. That's how many people Obama deported. 100 million? Good luck, But to curb as many illegals from crossing as possible, Trump is painting the border wall black to make it harder to climb as black surfaces attract more heat. Is this a good strategy? Will it have any effect? I say coat it with axle grease. What about you?
Axle grease is black.
Yeah. What do you think?
I say charge it with electricity, but
I was thinking the same thing, Aaron, but you beat me to it.
Barbed wire trenches, military installations with guns. I mean, have you ever seen like the border between Egypt and like Gaza? It's like,
oh yeah,
it would take a lot more funding to do that sort of thing, but they take their border seriously over there. We finally are, but it'll take a lot of time.
I vaguely remember Trump mentioning that wall, and it was like, and he said something along the lines of like, they definitely know how to defend their country or something like that.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I haven't, but I just remember that little tidbit.
Hold on a hot second here. I'm gonna see if I can pull this up because it's. I mean, I know it's a little off topic, but Egypt border wall. I don't know if we can find it. If I can, because it is worth looking at. I mean, this thing, there's no getting through it. Here you go.
Yeah, they ain't
good luck.
Around.
There's like 5 sections. Plus military installations. You're not getting through this. Especially if you got over one, you got another one with barbed wire, another one with barbed wire. I mean, goodness gracious.
That's higher than the other two.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. It's what, 3 rows of barbed wire? You're not getting through that. So, why are we not funding this? It's like, it's not. Anyway, that's just a side note there. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah. So painting it black is the least we can do. No doubt about it. So
it's all the funding they have.
I don't know if it'll, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know all the funding that Congress will give us. Or at least, we got some with the big, beautiful bill, but yeah, hopefully that'll help out here. But hopefully it'll make it hot enough to where, I mean, I'm sure it's hot as it is. I mean, it's metal. But yeah, even so, hot or black will just make it even worse. Axle grease, I'm telling you. The Supreme Court will decide whether to take up a case challenging its 2015 ruling to legalize gay marriage nationwide this year that could have ramifications for gay marriage and could overturn Obergefell versus Hodges. Many people have filed for this case to be reviewed, and it's never been overturned. But of course, if that happens, the narrative is going to be Donald Trump banned gay marriage. But in reality, Trump has always been a supporter of gay marriage, one of the few criticisms of him that I actually have. The fact is, the case has been filed by Kim Davis, a former Kentucky clerk who spent 6 days in jail for refusing to provide marriage certificates to same-sex couples on religious grounds. So keep an eye out on this one. If it happens with the conservative majority on the Supreme Court, things could turn ugly. But again, Donald Trump would have nothing to do with this. This is somebody else bringing it up. So if it happens, the left is going to lose their ever-loving mind, much like they did when they overturned Roe v. Wade. And put it at the state level. So yeah, keep an eye out on this. This could be ugly, no doubt. Any thoughts on that?
I remember seeing a video about this specifically, and it wasn't that the Supreme Court looked into it. The lady who was in prison for it, she sent a letter to the Supreme Court to take a look at it, but the Supreme Court hasn't
accepted the case.
Yeah, they haven't looked at it because I don't think, at least the person that I was watching, they said that it didn't look like the Supreme Court was going to look into it because they didn't want to touch that right now because there's more important matters.
Right. And I don't know. When I initially heard this story, I heard the Supreme Court decided to take up the case and was going to rule on it by the end of the year. There's some other ones out there that are saying this has been formally asked to overturn it. So I don't know which it is, but I've heard it might have been they're going to rule on it. So I don't know. We'll see.
He specifically said that formally asked. They was formally asked by this lady, but there was no mention of them actually looking at the case. But
now this article here was dated August 11th. So in that between now and the 24th, which is today, we very well could have gotten a decision that they're going to look into it, which I just heard this week. So that may have been the case. I'll have to look into that further. But yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. No doubt about it. John Bolton was raided in a high-profile national security probe, allegedly withholding and mishandling classified documents. Oh boy, the irony there. If Trump can be raided, even though Donald Trump had a right to have his classified documents because he was president, so can John Bolton. John Bolton's raid is being done by the letter of the law, not politically like Donald Trump's was. Here's J.D. Vance explaining further.
That the FBI is searching the home of former Ambassador John Bolton, his office as well.
Sure.
Can you tell me, why is the FBI raiding Ambassador Bolton's home and office, and did the White House get a heads up?
Well, so we're in the very early stages of an ongoing investigation into John Bolton. I will say we're going to let that investigation proceed. What I can tell you is that unlike the Biden DOJ and the Biden FBI, our law enforcement agencies are going to be driven by law and not by politics. And so if we think that Ambassador Bolton has committed a crime, of course, eventually prosecutions will come. But as you know, Kristen, this is all part of gathering evidence, trying to understand something that we're worried about. And of course, I'll let the FBI comment on the next stage of the investigation.
What's at the root of this? Is this about classified documents?
Well, again, I'll let the FBI speak to that. Classified documents are certainly part of it, but I think that there's a broad concern about Ambassador Bolton. They're going to look into it. And like I said, if there's no crime here, we're not going to prosecute it. If there is a crime here, of course, Ambassador Bolton will get his day in court. That's how it should be. But again, our focus here is on, did he break the law?
So yeah, unlike with Donald Trump, was no crime, but they made one up. This one is going to be, if there's a crime, then they'll look into it. They're just looking into it right now. So yeah, I mean, this is a happy and sad John Bolton when his house gets raided. So, and when Mar-a-Lago. So yeah, absolutely.
Spoiler alert: there was a crime.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, I'm sure of it. So yeah, so keep an eye out for that one as well.
Jesus,
that face looks
that's
like
part
he
of
got
it.
caught.
It looks like the guys from Super Troopers.
It looks like he just shit himself in that bottom one. And he smells it.
Yeah.
It looks like a Tim Burton.
He didn't realize it until he smelled it.
Hell, he's probably hiding whatever they're looking for in that mustache. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's a meme going around that they took out the thumb drive from it.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know. Yeah, that's hilarious. But yeah. Well, speaking of one that was
that bottom one, that bottom picture does look like he got caught. Like if you look at that face, he looked guilty.
That's the face that Reese makes when we find him with a marker.
Put it back, John. Put it back. Exactly. No doubt about it.
Oh man.
But I'll tell you what was not a crime. Donald Trump's $500 million New York civil fraud case payments have been overturned by get this, a Democrat appeals court overturned it, where Letitia James tried to claim that Mar-a-Lago was only worth $18 million and Trump supposedly defrauded the banks. This was literally a victimless crime. Every bank that Donald Trump took a loan out from were paid back in full and wanted to work with him again, according to the case. So yeah, he's getting his $500 million back. So yeah, that's great for Donald Trump, no doubt about it. Here's the older millennial. Here's the older millennial literally laughing about this.
Oh, what's that? Remember that huge case that Letitia James brought against Donald Trump? You know, because he overvalued Mar-a-Lago and now he owes $500 million. Yeah, he don't owe shit. Oh, and this wasn't the Supreme Court. This wasn't some Republican-run court. No, this is just a New York State appeals court made up of Democrat judges. They took one look at this and they were like, absolutely not. Guys, this winning is getting fucking ridiculous. Almost like everything they tried to do against Trump and every win they've had, just going the fuck away. The sad thing is, New York spent millions of dollars bringing this trial. Like Letitia James ignored the people she said were defrauded. You know, because they said they weren't defrauded. They said they did their due diligence. They said they were perfectly fine with giving him the loan, knowing the actual value of Mar-a-Lago. And she said, fuck that, I'm going to sue him anyway. And we spent years dealing with this fucking trial. Now, it's gone. Liberals, let's be real about this. You knew this was going to happen. You knew that was a temporary win. Now, not only does he not owe $500 million, but he's also your president.
Boom. and by the way, though, we should note, though, yes, the fraud ruling still stands. Until a higher appeal, which Trump is doing, by the way, the ruling may stand, but the cash comes home to daddy. So before long, Democrats are not going to have much to attack Trump with. Do we think that potentially the next thing could be the 34 felony counts for booking errors in the Stormy Daniels case could be overturned? You think that's a possibility? I think it could be. I mean,
probably.
It was like one error that he counted 34 times. If that happens, what are they going to use? Epstein?
Yeah. Can't do that.
Welp? Epstein. Oop, that's the wrong thing here. Epstein. Yeah. During a House Oversight Committee deposition this week, former Attorney General Bill Barr testified under oath and said that Trump is, quote, not implicated in the Epstein investigation and there's no evidence of any crime on Trump's part. And if there was, Biden would have released it. And by the way, Bill Barr is no friend to Donald Trump. And even he's saying it. So, and for all you Democrats out there that say just because Trump was photographed with Epstein 30 years ago, that doesn't mean anything. Okay? Give all the photos in the world with him and videos of him partying with him 30 years ago. Doesn't mean anything. He kicked Epstein literally out of Mar-a-Lago and even gave government officials information that led to Epstein's arrest. But, you know, keep running with that narrative that he's involved. To top it all off, though, this week, on top of Bill Barr, weeks ago, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's cohort, was interviewed by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and the transcripts of that interview had been blocked from seeing the light of day. Not by Donald Trump, because the media have said that Donald Trump is hiding this, but instead it was blocked by a Clinton-appointed Democrat federal judge until now. Today, the official transcript was released, which was yesterday. And guess what? Ghislaine Maxwell said Trump did nothing wrong, too. And more have been subpoenaed to testify on Epstein in the coming weeks. But now that's officially 3 people who have said Donald Trump is innocent, on top of Epstein's attorney himself said so as well. So Epstein's attorney, Bill Barr, now Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, and just quote it here, she said, I actually never saw the president in any type of massage setting, never witnessed president in any inappropriate setting in any way. President was never inappropriate. He was always a gentleman in all aspects. So now, that being said, Ghislaine Maxwell, in the same interview with Todd Blanche, also noted that Bill Clinton has never been to the Epstein Island, according to her, too. When the flight logs clearly show he's been to the island at least 28 times. And Jeffrey Epstein, bizarrely, had this crazy painting of Bill Clinton in his home, wearing a blue dress and red heels.
Saying to me.
So, whether or not we can actually take Ghislaine Maxwell at her word, take it for what you will. But that notwithstanding, Trump has now been said to not be involved by 2 other people, Epstein's attorney and Bill Barr, with more to come. At the end of the day, at least so far, there is zero evidence against Trump here in the Epstein files. Regardless, I still want the files released because I believe accountability must happen. So, thoughts on that? What did you think of when you thought of the Ghislaine Maxwell interview coming out?
It was a moot point. We already knew this.
Yeah. Well, Democrats thought they had Trump this time.
They didn't. Because if they
Golly
did, they
shucks.
should have been out there.
That woman can't be trusted for nothing. So
no.
The Democrat narrative now is, oh, she's just saying what she has to do, so Trump will partner.
I haven't. John, I'm pretty sure went through the files, but I haven't listened to his findings.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell was I going to say? Oh, she said that Epstein didn't kill himself.
Right.
And too.
Yeah, she said there was no client list, no high profile. Again, some of that I don't trust. That's why a lot of people are like, well, we can't trust her here with the Trump thing too. Well, she's not the only one saying it, and there's more subpoenas to come. There's going to be more that says Trump's innocent too. So just hold your horses if you don't believe Maxwell. That's fine. But
there's no way you can be an untouchable person like he was and not have some sort of blackmail on big wigs. Nobody, get down.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why Trump's kind of coming out and being like, "Well, it's a Democrat hoax. It's a Democrat hoax." He's not saying that like the Epstein stuff is a hoax. He's saying that his involvement with it and the media and the Democrats running with it to try to pin it on him or as being a part of it. He says that part's a hoax. That's what he's trying to say. He's not necessarily, eloquently putting it in a better way, but that's what he's trying to say. So yeah, keep on that thread though, Democrats. See how it works out for you. Donald Trump met with Vladimir Putin in Alaska this last week too, and Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine on Monday this week in an effort to pursue peace. Other countries also, their leaders also came to the White House, and no, it was not to protect Zelensky from a Trump ambush, but because they are leaders in Europe as well, and it also affects them. Crazies. Let's see here. Trump met with Putin at an airport in Alaska, complete with a B-2 bomb. This is awesome. I mean,
not to mention that, right?
Oh yeah, I know why he did it.
That's just a flex your dick muscle, like, bro. Listen, if we don't get this worked out, I'll eradicate this whole fucking thing.
He's right.
He's like, no, son, it's real over here. Okay, let's cut the bullshit.
The airport was also lined with military aircraft and attack helicopters. So yeah, he's telling Putin here, try it.
So did you guys see Putin gifted a random Alaskan a new motorcycle?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
heard he visited like some Russian cemetery or whatever, like from war, people who lost their lives or something like that. So that was in Alaska too. Like you said, they used to own it. So yeah, that was no problem with that. But yeah, this is a ballsy move, and this is a show of strength. And what's that?
The guy who got the bike.
Oh, was it? Oh, brother, we wouldn't be surprised. But even after that display of strength, the Democrats and the media were mad because they claim Donald Trump, quote, rolled out the red carpet for Putin. I mean, yeah, there was a red carpet, but it's not like, he was, they want to paint him as, oh, he treated him very, very well, right? He's his buddy. Well, Gavin Newsom rolled out the red carpet for Xi Jinping in California, including cleaning up all their homeless for a few days, and no one said a effing word. Yeah, this was a couple. What was it? Was it a couple years ago when he did this?
Yeah.
He literally cleaned up all the homelessness in the streets, even though he can't seem to do it every other day of the year. But when Xi Jinping of China comes around, no one said a damn word to Gavin Newsom for doing the same thing. By the way, it's also ironic because Democrats have been close with Putin too. The hypocrisy and attempts to smear Trump is just bullshit, and it's like they don't understand we can literally fact check them in real time. I mean, do they not know these photos exist?
This motherfuckers has not changed in all of these.
Well, we can say
fair.
Look, no, dead ass. Think about it.
Yeah.
All of these people look vastly different
today.
From the time they started serving, you know, but he does not.
Have you ever seen like Russian
taller in some
girls and
photos,
stuff?
but, like,
They don't eat the garbage we eat over here. Partially,
that's true. That is true. That
you
is
know,
true.
and he's the crazy one. He's aging, like you said. You can't hardly tell.
Jesus,
I mean,
that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think about it, doesn't it? You know, he's criticized how we do things in the States, like with certain things like food and things like that. He's talked about that stuff. Doesn't make
Like,
it
I'm
look
not
too crazy,
tripping,
now,
right?
does it?
Like,
No,
he
you're not.
doesn't look.
Yeah, it's nuts. But as always, the media wants to talk like, you know, Donald Trump either lost at this meeting or he gave Putin too much or whatever. Here's Caroline Levitt separating facts from fiction here.
However, one thing that has absolutely not changed is the media's negative and downright false coverage of President Trump and his foreign policy accomplishments. From the beginning of this entire process, much of the left-wing media has been actively rooting against the President of the United States in the pursuit of peace. Initially, the media ridiculously claimed that President Trump was somehow beholden to Russia for even agreeing to have a face-to-face discussion with President Putin inside of the United States. The media said President Trump was making a grave mistake by, quote, legitimizing Putin. They were aghast that President Trump would treat another world leader like a world leader. The media relentlessly attacked President Trump and claimed he suffered a, quote, major defeat for not immediately emerging with a final agreement, even though he said heading into that meeting, this was a meeting to listen and to understand how to move the ball forward. All weekend following those historic U.S.-Russia bilateral talks, we listened to clueless pundits on television trying but failing to claim that the president had failed. The so-called experts in the foreign policy establishment, whose record is nothing but endless wars, trillions of wasted taxpayer dollars, and dead Americans, have the nerve to try and lecture President Trump, who has solved 7 global conflicts in 7 months, about peace. This is the same president, by the way, who brokered the Abraham Accords in his first term, on top of more than half a dozen other peace deals this year alone, as I just said. We also saw yesterday the president of Ukraine and all of the other major leaders of Europe fly across the Atlantic Ocean to meet President Trump at the White House because of the progress that was made, and that, if you ask the media, failed meeting, but it was not. It was highly productive and it was successful. This is why Americans' trust in the mass media is at a lowest point in more than 5 decades. Diplomacy is a delicate process, and instead of reporting the facts about what is happening here at this White House and what is happening between this president and other leaders around the world, many outlets in this room continue to try to actively undermine the president and sabotage the efforts towards peace.
Exactly. You know, not to mention every time that Putin tried to advance on Ukraine and its surrounding areas, it was under a president not named Trump. Let's not forget, Trump inherited the conflict despite the fact this war started under Democrat leadership. Yet somehow Trump is the one being blamed because the war isn't over yet. It's not so easy, especially when one or both of the leaders don't want the war to end for political reasons or whatnot. Never mind the fact that Trump, as Caroline pointed out, has stopped 6 or 7 other conflicts around the globe since January alone. If he can somehow get a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Gaza, he more than deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. You know who else thinks so? Hillary Clinton.
He was encouraged by the events of the last several months. First of all, the NATO commitment by individual member states to increase their defense spending is very welcome. It's something that prior administrations have certainly sought, and I think it's great that we are seeing these commitments that now have to be followed through on. The willingness of European countries to support Ukraine, and by doing so, buy American weapons in order to provide them to the Ukrainians. I think all of that is a very good signal that there is beginning to be a better understanding, both by the president and the people around him, as well as by the leaders of our European allies, that there can be common ground amongst us. And the kind of dismissiveness that we saw in the first Trump administration has been replaced by a much more obvious working relationship to the good of European security, transatlantic security, and hopefully Ukrainian security. So I'm actually encouraged.
Now, she did go on to say that if he's able to I thought it was in this clip, but it's not. She went on to say that if he's able to broker a deal here and get this war ended without ceding land back to Russia, that she would nominate him herself for a Nobel Peace Prize. But did you notice how she worded that? If he doesn't cede land. I can already see where this is going. By the way, first of all, she's trying to stay on Trump's good side so she doesn't end up in prison, if you
I
ask
was
me.
about to say, she was kissing a lot of ass right there.
A lot of ass. Either that or she just went full-blown MAGA. One way or the two.
Disgusting.
That was, it made me feel icky inside, and I
Yeah.
didn't like it. But I'm just going to say, but notice how, again, I know I didn't have the clip there. I thought it was in there, but it's not. But she said she'd nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize if he doesn't cede land. But I can already see what's going to happen. Ukraine will likely have to give up at least some portion of the land that they've already lost in this war, as all countries have to do in peace negotiations following a war. But because of that, Democrats in the media will say, but Trump ceded to Russia and allowed them to take the land and forced Ukraine to give it up to Putin. That's exactly what's going to happen. Because he's going to have to give up this land, Zelensky is. Because you think, I mean, they occupy it. They're not going to give it back. I mean, so we'll see how this goes. But Putin also says that the war with Russia would not have happened if Trump was president when it started. He flat out said this at the press conference following their meeting, exactly as Trump said. Putin's also saying it now. So you can believe Putin all you want or not, but that's exactly what the man said. There's also a trilateral meeting with all three leaders together. That's the next step, and with God's grace, this will come to an end. One last note on this I wanted to touch on during an interview with Fox. Trump mentioned something that I thought was interesting about a part of his motivation to get this peace deal done, outside of obviously stopping the killing. Listening to this.
I want to end it. You know, we're not losing American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people, as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities like Kiev and towns. But, you know, if I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. Well, I think I saved a lot of lives with India, Pakistan.
So Trump wants to get to heaven, which tells you it's on his mind. He just brings it up kind of out of nowhere here a little bit. Trump, I know you'll never see this, I'm sure, but you need to know, though, you can't get to heaven by works alone. You can't. Only faith in Jesus Christ as your personal Savior can do that. Now, faith without works is dead, yes, but you can't get in. You can't buy your way into heaven. You can't save enough lives to get into heaven, because at the end of the day, we're all sinners. We've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. So someone needs to get him aside, and if he's really concerned about it, as it sounds like he is, he needs to be told about the gospel. So I'm praying for Donald Trump. At the end of the day, you know, God doesn't always call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You know, so Donald Trump was selected to be the United States president at this particular time for a reason. I fully believe that. And God does not always use saved people. But that does not mean he will not lead them to repentance through these things. So I hope that's what happens with Donald Trump. But again, somebody in his cabinet or whatever needs to set him aside and explain to him that you can't buy your way to heaven. That's just all I'll say about that. But yeah, I'm praying for Trump, praying for his salvation, praying for his eternal soul. So any other thoughts on that? No. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So I got one more.
I got one more clip.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, you said it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's
only
just.
got. Oh, so I was already screwed. But yeah, but no, there's. Crap. I'll pull it back up here real quick. Hold on. All right, I'm working on it. Okay. The clip you said.
Yeah.
Where was it at? On. Oh,
I said it in the private chat in StreamYard.
Okay. What was it about exactly?
It's just the Texas representative. He gives a really good answer to property tax question.
Okay.
He's the third youngest guy in.
Yeah. Property taxes definitely, they need to get rid of those, no doubt about it. Here is that clip she's talking about from Badlands.
For you, and I ask this to most of my guests that are in any form of government. And I know it's not an easy question to answer, but seeing like how bad our government as a whole has been, especially the federal government, varies state by state. the federal government, we see all this corruption. We see the weaponized intelligence community. We see this money just flowing overseas. We see a government that's not really been working for us. And I'm curious your thoughts on why you think we should be paying taxes as American citizens.
Yeah, that's great. Well, number one, some of the taxes you're paying are absolutely against the founding fathers' original intent for America. So, I mean, we look at, the Boston Tea Party, like they'd be rolling over in their graves if they saw the amount of taxes that we're paying right now. And so there's a few different segments of that. I'll speak to the state level and then we can talk federal. On the state level, I believe that property taxes are unconstitutional completely.
Amen.
I think we need to look at it and go put us on a path to elimination. No more property tax relief packages without a path to elimination. And ironically, that's like a controversial thing to say in the Texas legislature. Everyone's like, "Hey, we've got the property taxes fund our police, they fund our fire," and I'm like, "There's so many different avenues of funding police and fire. There's so many different avenues of funding public education." And so when we're looking at that, what we need to look at is our sales tax is much more constitutional than our property taxes are. And not only that, our sales tax revenue in Texas is insane. Now, I'm very proud we don't have a state income tax in Texas, and we in no way want to implement one. But when I look at what the federal government is spending our money on, that does cause me to lose respect and to lose my confidence in paying the taxes that we're paying right now. I mean, all the way down to what the Doge efforts did was beautiful, but it's a drop in the bucket for what we're spending on government. I know we've got some fiscal hawks in U.S. Congress right now that it seems like nothing will satisfy them and people get really frustrated with them. And I'm kind of shouting from the back of like, they're the only person that's actually saying fix the problem, which is the budget. If Congress could do one thing that would change the future of America for my kids, for your kids, and for their kids, it would be getting spending under control. That's the biggest issue we have in the federal government today.
No doubt about that. What are your thoughts on this, Miranda, since you brought it up?
I love it. Like I said, he was one of the youngest people in the Texas House. But we need more like him. Like, I don't know. I'm not running, but people our age need to get in there.
Yeah. Brendan, how would you feel if you dated someone who was running? Or married to? What am I talking about? Married to? Yeah.
Miranda for mayor.
Hey, I'd take you here in my county.
No doubt about it. I get a chauffeur, I don't give a shit. I'm making
But Aaron, did you see Greene County Sheriff's hiring $62,000 a year?
Ashley would not approve that.
I'm moving. I'm fucking moving. I'm not be damned if Aaron's gonna be the sheriff where I live.
That's what, shoot.
Yeah, I'd arrest you just on principle.
Yeah, off the strip. I'm not dealing with that.
Wait. Did you say 62,000 a year?
Yeah, to start.
Yeah.
I make more than that, and I don't put myself half in as much danger.
True, but
I'm not doing that.
You get a car and a gun.
Sweet. But no, but yeah,
no. I got both of those,
no.
so I don't need.
Yeah, I mean, I've got those at home, but yeah, don't use them. But yeah, so hey, you never know.
Also, I'm not very good at like resolving conflict when it's in.
Okay, Aaron, I'm sorry, I even brought it up.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna send it to Seth, honestly.
It's easy. You shoot him in the leg. It's okay.
Yeah, send it to Seth.
I'm kidding.
No. I'm not dealing with Seth being a cop either. That's ridiculous.
He could arrest you too.
Yeah, fair enough.
Wait.
No, I did. I wanted to be a cop when I was young, like when I was a teenager or whatever. Like that's why I wanted to go to the military, because I wanted to be a military police officer. But I wanted to do K9 unit is what I wanted to do. I wanted to work with the police dogs. Like I wanted to be a K9 officer. And never went through with it though. But that's what I wanted to do.
Right on.
But yeah, it was enough for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I can't do that. But last two topics of the night, then we're done. MSNBC has officially rebranded to MS Now. Apparently, following scandals, financial strain, mass layoffs, and a credibility collapse and plummeting ratings, MSNBC is rebranding itself. President Trump completely destroyed them. They are never going to recover from this. Funny how they threw opinion in there, by the way, as my source, news, opinions, and world. That's all they've been for like years now. Propaganda is a much better word, if you ask me. This is what the rebranding should actually stand for. More shit, nothing of worth. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of different versions of this going out there. People.
I thought the S stood for satire.
Well, more satire. Yeah, that's a little cleaner version of it, no doubt about it. So the CNN, MSNBC. If you're watching it, stop, because all you're believing is lies.
Do yourself a favor and stop.
Yeah, pull the plug. Literally.
I wasn't even watching it, but I'm definitely going to stop watching it.
Yeah. Unless you want to watch it for Scott Jennings and just laugh at all the idiocy. I get it for sure.
You guys turn it on, just turn it off.
Just to turn it off. Turn it on just like I go click real hard, and then just Roman
download it
just to hate watch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Be down for that. That's the only reason we talk about The View at all, just to hate watch it. But anyway,
I can't wait until they're done.
Another thing you should shut off if you're watching it, by the way.
Turn it on and shut it off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start watching it just so I can rage stop watching it.
I'm still hoping they don't actually come back, but that's a pipe dream, I'm sure. But
like hate watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Darn you, Predator Whoopi Goldberg. Anyway, all right. Last story of the night, then we'll get out of here. Cracker Barrel. We've all probably seen this. Apparently, Cracker Barrel's new CEO, Julie Feist Massinos, I think that's how you say her name. She's moved to make the restaurant's $700 million rebranding appear less white, less hateful, and Southern, which included the removal of the nostalgic nice old guy from the logo, has led to a $500 million loss and a 34% drop in stock value since she took over the company. That's $1.2 billion in losses. Yeah, they're the new Bud Light. I would fire her so fast, I wouldn't even have the words out of my mouth before she had the pink slip on the table in front of her. I mean, seriously, oh my God.
Damn.
For now, as I mentioned earlier in the show, very early on, it appears that the remodel is only going to affect around 30 of the 600 locations, but we all know how this woke stuff goes. It'll spread like wildfire. I mean, look at this. This is what it used to look like. This is the rebrand. If you've ever been in a Cracker Barrel, yes, the peg game's still there, and there's a few things on the walls, but it does not look or even feel close like the same place whatsoever. I've heard the gift shops are completely different too. They're saying that a lot of locations didn't used to sell beer and alcohol because of the family-friendly nature of the whole thing, and now they will be to attract some more customers, as well as they've to completely stop playing Christian music in there. So they've decided to stop doing that as well. So again,
They probably sell Bud Light.
Probably. Yeah, probably. I guarantee it. You've literally got, like I wrote on my Facebook page, you've literally got the worst demographic to try to appease to introduce this BS to. These type of people who go to Cracker Barrel do not want to. Right. They're not going to Cracker Barrel.
When we pulled in the parking lot, and that, bro, when I tell you this parking lot was packed, I ain't bullshitting you. It was packed. And I'm like, there's a lot of nice cars in this parking lot, right? A lot of trucks, but nice cars. And in my head, and then out loud, I said, ain't nobody in there but old people. Like, there is no one in there but old people and families. But those families are accompanied by old people. Like
Southern country, good old American people are the people who go to Cracker Barrel. Not DEI, liberal,
green haired, like that's not who's in Cracker Barrel.
No.
What are we doing?
Yeah. But if you listen to them though, the DEI heads over there at Cracker Barrel swear up and down that it's only a quote vocal minority who are not on board with the changes. A few days ago, everybody loved their changes. Now it's a vocal minority that don't like them. Like everyone who tries this, they'll continue to double and triple down until their doors eventually close. And to be quite honest, I think it's intentional to destroy American culture and heritage. Why do I think that, you ask? Well, take a look at this. I don't know if you saw this, but this is some of their stock stuff. And look who is their primary 2 out of the 3 largest primary stockholders is BlackRock and Vanguard. The unelected bureaucratic elites designed to subjugate us all that run the Democrat Party.
That's wild.
It's an all-out assault on our way of life. This is another example of this happening.
Why would they invest in something and then
because
to kill it?
Kill it. Yeah.
Yeah. Spend all this money. We're going to DEI the sucker. Nobody will go, and another, good wholesome American business is gone. It's about destroying this country. This is a war. We have been in this war for years. This is another example. Again, if you don't look into this stuff deeper, you wouldn't know this. You'd think, oh, well, I mean, their stocks were down, yes. And people were like, well, they're trying to change to, raise their stock prices up. Alienating your entire base is not the way to do it. Clearly.
It's just
we
like
now know why.
This whole makeup locking up thing is pissing me off. If I have to go and get somebody to get me an eyeliner because you're basically catering to the thieves, like you can't control yourself in public, so now I have to deal with your consequences. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like these people, nobody asked for this.
No.
Nobody asked them to change. Nobody complained about it. They're just doing it to fucking.
I mean, their stocks were down a little bit, but they plummeted since this.
Yeah.
I mean, completely. I mean, this is why it feels intentional, because this is anybody with the brain knows. Okay, you're taking away the identity of the store that makes it what everybody loves. I mean, it's not rocket science, But in the name of progressive or progress or whatever you want to call it, yeah. But as Brandon pointed out much earlier on, this is the way things were. And look at the right. That's the way things are now. It's like you're taking away
new Pizza Hut because of like the roof. They had the roof back, like you know what I mean. It was iconic,
set apart,
and the buffet.
Yeah. Yes,
the buffet,
the red
and
glasses,
the red
the chandeliers,
funky ass,
the arcade.
Going inside Taco Bell, the outside looked like that, but the inside was all these other weird ass colors. Like it was so mismatched, but it was what it was. You know what I'm saying?
McDonald's. You could actually take the kids and play and eat, and they'd have fun.
Watch them on the Jungle Gym for a while.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
And
a few McDonald's still have that, but
that's why we have a child obesity problem right now. Is because we no longer have play places at McDonald's.
Not all of them, for sure. There's a few that still have them. But,
kids can't pack down like 1,000 calories and go run it off in the play place.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
those damn balls will kill you.
And not only is it less aesthetically pleasing, but look at over the last year, the DEI track record. Bud Light marketing boss resigned after that whole debacle. Harvard president resigned. A UPenn president resigned. Secret Service director resigned after that whole debacle with the Trump shooting at Butler, Pennsylvania. Cracker Barrel stock is tanking. Disney and Marvel movies have bombed because of their DEI stuff. Star Wars in there. Let's throw them in there too. Stock market tanked, or Target stock market tanked after they tried to implement the whole tucking stuff in their like children's gear. Tractor Supply and John Deere reversed their policies. The woke backlash is here, and we're not letting it go. Go woke, go broke. That is literally it's a saying because it's true. I mean, and Cracker Barrel is going to be the next one if they don't stop. By the way, and finally, the Cracker Barrel person's on the bottom in the middle. Last thing to wrap it up, and we'll get out of here. Just a random observation. Why do all the crazy Trump deranged DEI leftists look exactly the freaking same?
Because they are.
Especially the hair with the crazy color usually and oversized glasses.
It's the look. It's the I don't fucking know, but like it's their uniform. It's their uniform, right? This is it. This is how you spot these. That's wild.
It's not hard to pick them out of a lineup. That's for damn sure. Or out of whatever. But I don't know what to do with this. But yeah, Cracker Barrel made a big mistake, and yeah, millions of dollars. Well, actually, billions right now. Over 1 billion since that lady took over. So yeah. Yeah, and they've doubled down. They've already doubled down. So we'll see how that game ends up going for them. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for them. You know, so yeah. So that's all I got tonight, guys. What do you think about all this crazy?
That Cracker Barrel shit is stupid. Like I when we went in I didn't go inside, but when we pulled in, I'm telling you, bro, as we're pulling in, there is just white-haired, collared shirts, and old ladies just shuffling into this fucking place. And I'm like, this is their place. This is their go-to. You know what I mean?
Hey,
you know why? You ain't got to worry about crying kids. You don't have to worry about babies. None of that. It's just
they get an early bird special. You know?
Yeah, getting discounts and drinking coffee.
Yeah. Hey, don't get me wrong. I like a big plate or a bowl of dumplings and biscuits and gravy. I love that stuff. But I'll tell you right now, like I said it in one of my other posts, I said it in my other post, what's Cracker Barrel's loss is going to be American Eagle's gain. People who stop eating dumplings and biscuits are going to be able to fit in those great jeans. And we're going to have a lot more healthy people around here now because of this stuff. So there you go.
But man, Cracker Barrel was good country cooking though, man.
I know. I love it as much as the next guy. Clearly. I mean, but yeah, I mean, if they keep doing this, I won't go there.
Well, there was a lot of Christian type gifts in the gift shop. Are they going to get rid of all that stuff too?
Yeah,
I think that was. I know the gift shop was going over heavy overhauls, so yeah, I'm sure they were going over everything with a fine tooth comb. I guarantee it. Anything that's got God or anything, anything that's offensive, supposedly to those DEI, orange-haired women. I don't know, and I know it sounds terrible, but one of the most destructive forces in this nation right now are liberal white women.
Yeah,
for sure.
Hate me, call me bigot, all you want. That is for certain. Look at all the destructive stuff they've done when they get into positions of power like this. So yeah. Thank you for checking out this clip from the Dragon's Den podcast. If you like what you saw here, please consider checking out our full podcast on Saturday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to follow, comment, like, and subscribe. And until our next video, guys, take care and God bless.